our 6G Leadership Tech Talk. This will be our 14th in the series. And in this Tech Talk, there are two experts, Dr. Brajesh Mishra, my colleague, and he is not just PhD, but I think gold medalist also, and public policy. And Mr. Dr. Mishra is known to all. The circle, whoever is, I think, related to TTDF or TCOE India or maybe in DOT as well. Another speaker will be Dr. YVS Lakshmi, and she has done a lot in 6G in real terms on 6G technologies, but experts of IPR. So I am sure that that will be beneficial to all the participants. I request you all to unmute yourself if you are not speaking. This is the brief biodata of Mr. Brajesh, who will be speaking at the last. First, Dr. Lakshmi will be speaking. Let me share something about the Bharat 6G Alliance. This is a research alliance formed in July 2023. And main target is that how can India be a leader in deployment of 6G by 2030? We have 90 plus member, and it includes startup MSMEs, TSPs, R&D institutions, instruments vendors, all ecosystem vertical user as well. We do our work through 7 working groups on spectrum, that what is the clear-cut vision for government, what should be. So that's discussed here, and we submit our recommendations to the government. Same is the West technology. And it's not just network side, but even we go to device by UE side. And we are trying to give the recommendations to the government that how can you make even modules, subsystems, antennas when 6G will be deployed. And naturally 6G use case applications and green and sustainability. We are working closely with the TSDSI and we complement them. So one can say we are pre-standard, do all the groundworks, but once you want to do some certain things on standards, then you have to go to 3GPP, ITU, then the rules comes of TSDSI. One of the important activities has been the IPR patent. For that, we bring the leaders from across the domain. Even in 6G Tech Talk, we hosted in June 3 Tech Talks on the fixed wireless access by experts from Ericsson. Even on 5G advanced test instruments, however, what is the rules? So by Rods and Sword. And there was an important webinar on 3GPP roadmap to 6G by Mr. Puneet Jain, who is the chair SA of 3GPP, Mr. Y. Anil Kumar, IIT Madras, and BBS Prasad, Tejas Networks. And even on patents, we have hosted 3 events. First was by Sri Gopal Kumar, Assistant Controller of Patents and Design, DPIIT. Sir shared the important aspects on the subject, how the government feels, I mean, from a controller point of view. And another was by IP Catalyst, a scheme of MIghty where startups, MSMEs will be funded completely for their international patent filing, whereas they will be handholded for domestic as well. So that was by Mr. Parimal Kadi. And next one, on the same series, today we have our 2 eminent speakers, Dr. Brajesh Mishra and Dr. Lakshmi. And with this, I invite all of you who have joined this webinar and request Dr. Lakshmi to start the presentation. I have given her the presenter's right. Over to you, Dr. Lakshmi, and subsequently Dr. Brajesh Mishra will come. So thank you all for joining. Please keep yourself muted other than the speakers. Thank you. Welcome.
Thank you, sir. I hope you are all able to see my screen.
Yeah, we can.
So, good morning to one and all present here today. And my special thanks to Bharat 6G Alliance and especially Dr. Pathak sir for inviting me here to talk about a snapshot of 6G patent landscape. So I would take my agenda would be like very little bit of introduction to intellectual property rights protection, need of IPRs in 6G, what are the challenges which we are going to face from our country, patents and standard essential patents, and some more things at the end I would be talking about. So as all of us know, IPRs are very important because they offer possible mechanisms for stimulating research, enabling access to technology and promoting enterprise growth and benefit to the society. And also research in 5G advanced and 6G will require intellectual property protection through patents and other forms of IPR. We also need to, as of now, we are putting a lot of concentration on filing patents, but other forms of IPR like the trademark, the copyright, the design registration and the trade secrets are also equally important, which we need to take it forward as we move on. The need for IPRs in 6G to develop a competitive product portfolio for 6G, patent standards and standard essential patents are necessary. We all also agree that proof of concepts through research projects, public-private partnerships, test bits and pilot rollouts are required to build confidence in the technology. These are the proofs that the technology, what we are going to build, is going to give a lot of confidence to people as we file patents and also take it forward to the standard essential patents. Thus, the transfer of IPR-enabled technologies through commercial route will gain greater importance. Ultimately, the aim is to commercialize all of these concepts, and a business perspective is the most important thing at the end of the road. So, what are the challenges which we are facing as of now? Or maybe I should not be saying as of now, maybe some time back, maybe we have improved a bit and we may be reaching the goal soon. The identification of the patents that are essential to the operation within a standard is one of the challenge. I think we are working towards that. Level at which royalties should be set is very important. How the royalties should be distributed between the owners. Since 6G and all cannot be like a one single ownership, it is more of a collaborative nature. So there will be a lot of joint ownerships. So how do we do this? This kind of licensing, these are very, very important, and a legal perspective to that and how to share the royalties, upfront discussion is very, very important. Also, many times the royalties could be running royalties, it could be annuity royalties, or it could be at the basic countdown presentation. So developing patent pools which requires cutting edge R&D and sophisticated IP exploitation is another important aspect which we need to consider. These are some of the challenges. If we can overcome these challenges, we could definitely be able to take the Bharat 6G Alliance goal, which is to become by 2030 we meet all our goals. Patents and standards, just a perspective as to what a patent is and how it is different from standards. Patents and standards serve common objectives insofar as they both encourage innovation as well as the diffusion of technology. I think we all understand this and we agree with it. In order to produce a standard compliant device, use of certain patents is required. The main requirement for using a patent to obtaining a license from the owner of the patent concerned. So let us understand what is this essential patent. A patent requires technology that is essential to comply.
ತಿನ್ನ ಅದ ಕರ್ಕೊಂಬಂದು ತಿನ್ನಲ್ಲ ಅನ್ಬಿಟ್ರೆ ಏನಪ್ಪ ಇದು ಇಟ್ಕೊಂಡು ಕೊಡು ಆಮೇಲೆ
Let me continue. Standard essential patents, a patent that protects technology that is essential to comply with a standard is called a standard essential patent. Standards organizations, like for example, 3GPP, ETSI, TSDSI, all these are called standard organizations. Therefore, often require members to disclose and grant licenses to their patents and pending patent applications that cover a standard that the organization is developing. So, this is the basic crux of the standard essential patents. What is fair, reasonable, and non discriminatory information which we need to understand? To promote application of standard and to avoid any competition concerns, such licenses must be made available under fair, reasonable, and non-discriminatory terms to a person or a company which wants to use the SEP. Thus, this patent right is not absolute like the rest of the patent rights. Here, the owner of the SEP is under an obligation to license its patented technology, which sets a standard for the industry, and such license must be granted on FRAND terms. So this is an important aspect where even startups, MSMEs, anybody could go and license license the SEP on FRAND terms. These FRAND terms generally are very NDA protected. So generally the FRAND terms are not available in public domain, and it is generally between the parties. So the number of global patent applications for key 6G technologies are, as you see, that countries like India, Canada, Israel, and Singapore have begun filing patents, but mostly in IoT, AI, RAN, and other and terrestrial integration. But their numbers are still modest compared to the big five. So we can see that USA, South Korea, China, and Europe have come up with, especially Japan is in the forward frame. So another thing we need to understand is these are the places where the number of global patent applications are happening in the 6G tech, and where we need to keep a watch on what is happening and try to see what is the landscape where we can also provide some more patenting areas and see that if we can meet some of our goals. The leading corporate filers, mostly Huawei, Samsung, Qualcomm, Nokia, and Ericsson. This is all this is available in the public domain. We can always have a look at that. So these are some of the companies which we may have to have a watch as to what are the SEPs which are available, and possibly can we take some of them on FRAND terms, or what is it? We can collaborate with them. These are some of the things which we need to understand while we are working on some of the areas which we are interested in. The patent landscape for key 6G technologies. The share of the global 6G patents, other than like you can say IoT, sensing, photonics, industrial wireless, is 5%. Digital twin-based network management is 10%. Reconfigurable intelligent surfaces is 15%. Satellite terrestrial integration is 18%. AI networking is 24%, and terahertz communications 20%, 28%. So what we can see the share of the global 6G patents. So we can from this we can really understand that the IoT sensing, there is a lot of activity which we can take up because it's only 5%. And if you can also take the NTN, which is 18%, and AI networking also. Of course, there's a lot of crowding in AI networking also. 1 second. So let us just see how the patents are spread out in different areas, like AI-based air interface technology. The future 6G will be a trend of combining wireless transmission with AI deep learning and communication physical layer. The current total number of global patent applications in this field are mostly from China, and that too from universities and research institutes. So we too in India have to encourage, I think there is a lot of encouragement and lot of work being carried out at the universities and of course the research institutes. Terahertz technology, the total number of global patent applications involving terahertz technology showed an overall trend of growth. The largest number of terahertz patent applications came from China, accounting to 40% of the total number of global patent applications, while the US ranked second. So airspace sea ground integration technology, an important direction of 6G communication development is to build ground communication networks, satellite communication networks, and deep sea and oceanic network fusion to achieve the global connection bearing airspace sea ground integration. In the total number of global patent applications, the field of satellite communication is almost 31%. Again, applications are more from China. Deterministic network technology, there are almost more than 1,000 global patent applications filed in the field of deterministic network. The US has a clear advantage in this technology with the largest number of patent applications accounting for 55% of the total global patent applications, while China has 232 cases accounting for 23% of the total global patent applications. These are all statistics which are available and which we need to know so that we get a space where we can develop our own inventions. So, what are the priorities of the 6G stakeholders? So, I have sort of put down about 4 stakeholders. Basically, the stakeholders could be the inventors, SEP owners, and also the attorneys and the licensors and the licensees. So, basically, each one has their own interest in these priorities. So R&D scientists want spectrum bands, TRL levels, and channel model detail, etc., in order to pursue his R&D and see that something comes out of his activity. And also, they also look for participation and also they need to know what are the SDOs working on and what is the requirements, and the data has to flow back to the R&D scientist in order to take it forward. The other one is the potential SEP owners need a defined monetization pathway supported by patent filing assistance and a dedicated budget for SEP focused industry experts. So what happens is filing patents is one part, taking them to standards is another part, and making these as SEPs is another bigger deal. So what are the potential patents which could be going into as an SEP is a very, very important task, and that happens only when we discuss more in the SDOs and all those aspects, then only we will be the potential SEP owners will be knowing these things. And also many of the industry experts are also looking for this. The IP attorney, this is the IP attorney wants to get to know the SEP definitions and ownership mechanics, because especially when we do FRAND terms or when they declare SEP, when claim chart mapping, all this is more of legal activity rather than it's a more like a techno-legal activity. So an IP attorney has to get an expertise in order to face any of the litigations or help the ownership mechanisms or to draft the NDAs or the legal document or the licensor agreements. So the IP attorney has a lot of work to do in this area also. And especially, we cannot leave any stone unturned, especially when we are doing a license agreement or when we are taking things on FRAND agreement. We need to have a proper legal attorney who understands these things. The common thread for all the above is all three should track India's targets against 3GPP release 2021 and ITU IMT 2030 milestones, since India's IPR program is tied directly to those releases. India's IPR engine for 6G targets and mechanisms. This I have tried to put this, and anyway, one more aspect is all this data, which it's mostly I have taken from the open source, and but if any changes are there, maybe a little bit of data changes will be there here and there. So the national target, and I have also taken a lot of data from our Bharat 6G Alliance document, so that I could map what I am saying to that. And here the national target has been put as 10% of the global 6G patents by 2030 via a cumulative 10,000 patent portfolio, including SEPs, tied to 3GPP release 21 and ITU IMT 2030. Mechanisms for joint ownership and revenue sharing between academia, industry, and government is very, very important. Structured agreements to be in place. As I told you, it could be IP attorneys or the lead could be taken even by TTOs. TTOs are nothing but technology transfer officers. I think most of the IITs now do have TTOs to take this lead. And monetization support patent facilitation centers to secure and commercialize IP from publicly funded R&D with an explicit SEP focus for industry participants is also an important target. 6G standard bodies and India's role in the 3GPP and ITU-R and ITU-T, the global technical baseline, this is basically, and India engages via 3GPP release 19 study items, moving to release 2021 work items, and ITU-R WP5D's IMT 2030 Vision Framework. CSDSI, India's own SDO, the channel through which Indian experts have contributed to 3GPP and ITU over a decade now. And as all of us know, that we have delivered low mobility large cell technology into the IMT 2020, proof that model works. So we all have to work throughout in order to see that we do more of this kind of work. And India's fellowship and training programs explicitly route scholars into IEEE working groups alongside ITU-R, ITU-T, and 3GPP. So we have done in CDOT also has done a lot of work towards working groups in Wi-Fi and Wi-Fi 7 and so many things in the wireless, especially in IEEE. And as you all know, we have also got the award for being the best standards organization in the country and in the world in this 2025. FC hosts the IPR database that most SEP licensing disputes cite. Hence, it's a good starting point to create an SEP repository. Tropical climate, a distinct 6G physical layer challenge. This is something which I thought, which is a very, maybe I should say, more of a personal thought than somebody else's. And what I felt was that millimeter wave or sub-terahertz signals suffer sharp atmospheric absorption at specific water vapor and oxygen lines. Rain attenuation rises steeply with frequency. Tropical raindrop sizes are large relative to millimeter wave and terahertz wavelengths, producing a heavier signal loss than in temperate climates. Field studies in Malaysia and Indonesia report that the standard ITU RP838 rain model under predicts attenuation for tropical raindrop size distributions on short range wavelengths. So standards leverage SEPs. India declares from tropical climate validated 6G designs could become reference points for other developing countries. In conclusion, 6G rollout within a stipulated time requires patent corpus at the country level to leverage commercial benefit, identification of the patents that are essential to the operation within a standard, telecommunication standards to promote standard essential patents in each of the above technologies, climate overlap, Southeast Asia, Sub-Saharan Africa, and much of Latin America share India's tropical slash monsoon rain and humidity profile. So India generated channel data could plausibly transfer. Standards leverage SEPs India declares from tropical climate validated 6G designs could become reference point for other developing countries with similar climates and less standardization capacity of their own. Thank you so much for this opportunity, and I'm ready to take. I think we can have the questions at the end, and maybe I can. Dr. Brajesh sir could take up next.
Thank you, Dr. Lakshmi. Now let me invite Dr. Brajesh Mishra. So I request Lakshmi to share his slides.
Yes, sir.
We have given you the rights. Please.
Yeah, I'm
Share.
sharing. I'm sharing.
Good morning, friends. I am very grateful to Parasiji Alliance for giving me an opportunity to share my views on my topic, which is virtuous cycle of innovation, patents, and licensing. During my talk, I will briefly start with the moral justifiability of patent system, followed by the three chapters listed here. The patent system which we see all around us is often justified, morally justified using some of the prominent theories. The first one being labor theory of property, where labor done by the inventor during the process of invention gives him right over the IPR getting created. However, on flip side, it is seen as something which restrict use of that idea for societal benefit. The second theory is built around distributive justice argument, where patent is viewed as a reward system for innovator for their initiative, which in a way prevent free riders gain unfair competitive advantage for the invention not done by them. So that this argument is critiqued on four grounds. The first ground is that the basic researchers or the researchers who are unsuccessful, who are not successful to gain the patents, are not rewarded. The second factor being that there is no clarity on criteria of evaluation of the reward. Then there is no clarity on exclusive right and no link with social usefulness and scope of protection associated with the patent. The third theory is consequentialist argument based, and it view patent as something which encourages innovation on one hand and which encourages disclosure of knowledge on the other hand. But on the negative side, it is often argued whether they really encourage progress, economic progress, or they may even uh, limit progress by restricting use of the IPRs. And it is often very hard to keep this patented knowledge a secret. Now, the patent system has an associated cost, a set of associated cost, uh, so which are not desired actually, but they are there, whether we like it or not. So, for example, the consumer pay artificially high prices for patented products and processes. There is an increase in the instances of lawsuits happening, which also inflates the real cost of innovation. And it often allows for suppression of invention if the inventor is not willing to exploit the uh, patent patented technology. It is not mandatory. Then sometimes because of unduly patent claim, unduly broad patent claims getting granted by the patent offices, which makes the task of future researchers very difficult, and they have to invent around. So it's very difficult to create new patents uh, and or to even improve the existing patents in case the patent claims are broad in nature. Now, coming to the first chapter of my talk, innovation patent licensing ecosystem. So, this ecosystem is something which help us understand how do law and policy provide incentives to inventors, and the second is how is access to these knowledge goods extended among consumers. So the innovation patent licensing ecosystem witnesses contractual bundles for facilitating innovation, and they have interrelated functions. The first type of contract which we can find is alliance contract, where uh, there is a partial integration of capabilities by a few organizations to pursue innovation jointly, and it helps them mitigate hazards of collaborations, if any. Then there is a second set of contractual group, which is uh, creating collective organizations such as patent pools. The third is where the transfer of resources is realized using contracts, and the resources are transferred from inventors to the users of those IPRs. And example is patent licensing, where patentees who are not focused on commercially exploiting their inventions, or patentees who wants to have additional stream of revenue, can go for licensing their patents to other firms and earn revenue in form of royalty. Now, patent license is nothing but a contract for, and it involves a legal contract for a right to the patented technology, and then there are other asset transfer which takes place, and those other assets include know-how which is required for implementation of those technology. So it's important to understand that patent license is not just a legal document. And basically, patent licensing transaction, it includes a bundle of assets uh, uh, which is exchanged for a monetary payment or other consideration. Uh, bundle asset transfer is very common in software patent licensing contract. The majority of startup in software industries are expected to gain technology knowledge from patentees when they take a patent license. Example, AMC obtaining a patent license to IBM technology. It will involve legal contracts plus uh, getting some assistance in purchase of uh, relevant product line consisting of know-how, computer codes, copyright, and other aspects. Now, coming to the second chapter of my talk, that is challenge for inventors and startups in the developing countries. So IPR is also many times presented as if they are the sole driver of economic growth. However, there is a mixed evidence, and particularly there is mixed evidence when it comes to patent protections. So Failway et al. 2006 have found that response to economic growth to patent protection uh, is not consistent, and it benefits developing countries more, and that the patent protection may also have insignificant or negative influence on infrastructure and FDI. So developing countries have more critical, or means developing countries have to deal with other important factors when it comes to economic growth, and IPRs can often play a very secondary role. Now, it has been found that successful catching up economies have achieved growth without a strong protection for IPRs, and I think China is one of the example. Then uh, it is also seen that uh, there is a lot of IP litigation happening nowadays, and it has become one of the main tool for of trade disputes. And latecomers firms are facing heavier challenges, or same thing applies to the developing countries. Uh, and uh, it can be said that when the capabilities of firm are weak, the role of government and public research institutes become very important, and we cannot just leave everything on the market. Now, as we know that TRIPS, that is trade related aspects of IPR, which have agreements have been adopted by most of the developing countries, and they were based on two pillars of thought process, that is protecting IPRs and protecting public interest. And as per the TRIPS narratives, IPR could enhance domestic innovation. Whether they have actually done it, question mark. Attract technology transfer, again question mark. Administratively, as we all know, they are costly. Many times they end up shutting down infringing activity, and the companies. TRIPS could transfer rent, then generate abuses of market power, promote growth in open economies. So these points are based on the experience of various developing economies. Then technical change and growth in technology importing country would be improved, uh, not only by just IPR, strong IPR regime, but it also needs some supporting collateral policies and institutions. For example, market liberalization, promotion of free entry, and removal of distribution monopolies. Important to invest widely in primary and secondary education. Countries should reduce impediments to commercialization of new knowledge. Competition authority needs to be capable of investigating complaints and applying appropriate remedies wherever needed. Now coming to the third chapter, that is access to domestic market for a virtuous innovation cycle. In order to do that, it's important to understand how subterranean profit create a virtuous cycle of innovation in any market, not just India, but I mean any market in general. So subterranean profit can be defined as a temporary profit which is earned by innovators and which occurs during a time bracket where when the innovation happens, and by the time the innovation is uh, emulated by the competitors and there is a successful diffusion. So any competitive advantage which comes from a new commodity, a new technology, a new source of supply, a new type of organization commands a decisive advantage. I think this is very important to understand. Now there is the innovation and Shamterian profit, they have a bidirectional relationship where outcomes of innovation can enable and incentivize further innovation benefiting humanity, and that is what I mean by a virtuous cycle. Now the question is this virtuous innovation cycle available for Indian domestic companies, particularly telecom, startups, MSME, manufacturers? My understanding is no. So there are a few points to ponder. How to create a new virtuous innovation cycle for domestic companies? How to help them scale up? I think it will require business innovation rather than technology innovation alone. And not only just business innovation, but it will also require uh, an improvement in market access, an improvement in the domestic market access for these companies. And the market access, I mean the complete market, not just the public procurement one, and equal access, equal opportunity. This is what I mean by market access. Now, taking the discussion forward, how to build a sustainable telecom innovation and value ecosystem. We can refer to the Taiwan's innovation system, something which transformational uh, journey happened in case of Taiwan in 3 phases, uh, wherein it transitioned from traditional industries to virtuous cycle of development. Uh, the success of Taiwan economic transition, uh, initially there was a lack of supporting infrastructure, supporting institutions for development. There was lack of productive and efficient entrepreneurs and employees. And the authors Wong et al. They have used transformational failure perspective to understand how the transformational actually took place in case of Taiwan's innovation system. So it passed through 3 phases of transformation. Uh, the first one being between 1960 to mid 1970s, where macro institutional fundamentals were established, and then second phase between 1970s to 1990s, when multi-agent structure and institutional entrepreneurship was built in the country. And then the third, virtuous cycle development, initiating platform, which took place after 2000, year 2000. And this third phase witness diversification of core industries and businesses, and it witnessed continuous creation of new radical technologies and development of new technological clusters. Uh, so the credit also goes to the macro institutional fundamentals which were strengthened during 1960s and 70s, where there were significant increase in the supply of efficient entrepreneurship, import substitution come export policy were implemented to protect infant industries, and industrial learning policy was designed to favor multinational companies, which in a way motivated domestic companies to participate in global standards. Now, the second case is that of Avanci framework, a, a successful patent pool experiment, you can say. Now, the modus operandi of patent pool is like this, where patents are collected from multiple patentees and they are licensed out as a package. So the patent pool act as a one-stop shop, licensing efficiencies, reduce transition cost, and add predictability to the licensing environment. Avanci operated in licensing cellular standards in the IoT subdomain broadly. And from Avanci, we can have 5 policy learnings. First being that only enough upstream SEP owners need to join 5G pool, and others, including vertically integrated SEP owners, may join indirectly through bilateral licensing. The third point being that encourage upstream SEP owners to join the pool through high enough royalty rates. The upstream SEP owners should be paid high enough royalty rates, and which must be divided among members under value proportionality rules. Then fourth is adequate flexibility in pools to facilitate the adoption of different licensing programs. So there should be flexibility. You cannot have a single approach to deal with all the scenarios. Then while doing pool administration, it is important to do proper consulting with the implementers while finalizing the specific licensing programs. So the option in front of India is whether to create an Indian FNC type of licensing pool or to join the original FNC. So that's all from my side. Thank you.
Thank you, Brajesh. And let me now come to the question and answer. To Dr. Lakshmi, there are certain questions in the chat box. I
Okay,
think I
sir.
request you to please take one by them. And subsequently, I request the online our participants to write more and more questions if they have on public chat, as well as raise the hand, which will be replied subsequently. Dr. Lakshmi.
Yes, sir. Yeah. There is one question from Mr. Lokesh Madan. What best practices and cultural values can we learn from Japan, South Korea, and China, and how might we thoughtfully adapt them in our own context? Good question. So there is no one right way. So and we have to make our, I mean, India specific value is something very important. We could take some of the things, but what happens is, especially when we talk about some funding and other things, each country has their own issues, their own way of dealing things. We could do, but that's a program by itself. I think we need to take up as a project and try to do it. There is no immediate answer for this.
Dr. Lakshmi, if I can add to what you have said,
Yeah, please,
I
sir,
think
please.
I think solution lies in picking up some best practices from various countries. We cannot just and blindly emulate any one specific, and we have to rely on identifying some of their best practices and adopting them in India. Thank you.
Right, sir. Yeah. So now I would like to answer Professor Ashish Bharadwaj's question. How will an SEP repository help? Yes, it is going to help the startups and others who do not know what is declared and what is not, and what is true, what is not true, and things like that. If we develop a SEP repository only for the Indian context, only those which are in India, that will be a very small number, that I fully agree. So we need to have an SEP repository of the totality. So for example, ETSI declares all the SEPs, right? So it's a good opportunity to build a repository. In fact, we are trying to do one. And again, there are a lot of things which are prominent in ETSI, like over declaration and maybe essentiality checks. Unless we do that and we get a smaller portion, it becomes very difficult for anybody who wants to take any SEP on FRAND terms. So this is there is an opportunity, and there is a drive for doing this, and maybe we'll come back quickly on this to you, sir.
Doctor, if I can add, I think
Yes, sir. Please add, sir. Yeah.
perhaps Sir Bhardwaj has asked, yeah. So Sir Bhardwaj has asked question keeping in mind the SEP repository around 5G and 6G technologies. And it is a bold step. I think other countries have published like CROT may try to do in a limited fashion also. I think SEPs are only claims. They are subject to scrutiny and legal discussions taking place, and technical evaluation taking place that how far those SEP claims are correct. I think this is a good question. Somewhere it hints that when we are going to create SEP repository, we should have a very specific objective in our mind. We cannot create SEP repository and share with the whole world. We have to have a audience in our mind, and what this SEP repository is ultimately trying to do. Is it helping our startup and entrepreneurs find out the gap in SEP knowledge space, or is it protective in nature where we are trying to avoid infringement of SEPs unknowingly? So I think the interesting question from Professor Bhardwaj, and a difficult one to answer convincingly. Thank you.
Anyone else? I think Mr. Rajkumar Rawat, he is a MTech student, so I think he has asked that can he do independent 6G research and file patents and SEP. So the answer is yes, but definitely once you say SEP, which as a layman I know that it is standard essential patents, means that without your patents, if standard can't be implemented, it's something related to interoperability, etc., or maybe some features. Naturally, that then only it will be called SEP. So you have to participate in standard making process like 3GPP, 1M, 2M, ITU. So perhaps there is no such provisions for as a individual, but definitely you can go along with your academic institutions, or you can file a company, become the member of TSDSI, individual member of 3GPP, then you can contribute there. So this is the process, but definitely we can help you, and government mighty has one scheme, IP Catalyst, which was shared during our previous webinar. So they support startup MSMEs for international patent filing, as well as they handhold them for domestic patent filing. So once I said handhold means the cost has to be borne by you. So I'm sure that you please be connected with us, because our next webinar will be on 13th of August by Sari Nilsson, and Professor Ashish Bhardwaj will be moderating that, and that she belongs to the head of standardization of RAND 2, RAND 3, RAND 5 at Nokia, and she is the actual practitioner, one can say, of what is called SEP, because that's a very jargon word. SEP and FRAND, these are the two terms even I am unable to give you any correct answer. So this is my thought process. Anyone, if you just like to say something, or Professor Ashish Bhardwaj, would you like to speak something? Then you can speak now. Professor Bhardwaj. In case he is not available, then Dr. Lakshmi, over to you.
Sir, I don't have much to say. Thank you. That's all I had. Any questions? I think there was one question from Dr. Asta saying that how can Indian academia and industry systematically convert tropical propagation studies into patented technologies that eventually become part of international standards? Yes. First of all, we need to file patents in those areas, and the claim chart should have the temperatures and other things, how it works. And if you remember long back when we used to do in 80s or 90s, we used to have the QM555, and those are the things which we used to follow. So possibly taking it as a spiral now, what it is happening, we need to check, and we can definitely have patents in that area. That's where India can have a upper hand, and then possibly start a working group, maybe here in IEEE or in TSDSI, and see how it can be taken forward. I mean, anybody can add something more for this.
Thank you. It appears that there is no
Sir,
one. Yeah, Mr.
Sir, can
Rajkumar.
we,
Yeah, please tell.
sir, can we move to the next question? Or
No, Brajesh, you
Rajkumar
tell.
sir, you want?
Yeah, Mr.
Yeah.
Rajkumar, then Brajesh. Yeah. Mr. Rajkumar, I think he has given his email. So, Brajesh, can you just speak?
Sir, I will like to address to one question of Professor Ashish Bhardwaj. I think it is addressed to me since my name is there. His question is, what explain that only rich nations have a strong, predictable patent system with unambiguous IP policies, and there are no wealthy nations that have a weak, unpredictable, and underutilized patent system for advanced technology. So I think he's indicating to the fact that normally it is seen that developed nations also have strong, predictable patent system and IP policies. You are right, Professor Bhardwaj. You are right. In my presentation, I have referred to certain which have challenged this way of thinking. I think the thought process in those academic paper is that developing nations face lot many other issues while they are in their journey towards getting to a developed status, and patent having a stable patent system is definitely needed, but uh, in the initial phase they may have to give importance to other strategic requirements. I think there will always be two sides. One side just saying that let us first copy the qualities and strength of developed nations as far as their patent system is concerned. But there is another narrative which says that that status of patent system in any developed nation can be progressively achieved as we go along, and initially the better way may be to strengthen the domestic startup as indigenous strength around SEP.
So, slightly it appears
Blindly
that
copying developed nations thought process may be detrimental. Now, he has also raised another question. Yeah, he has raised another interesting question, sir. He is referring that some Chilean profit is based on
I think
Indian
we are
burden is
facing
on
the
by the government.
audio
How
issue.
can this cycle be
Audio.
broken? As we have witnessed in other tech associations. So this also, thank you, Professor, for raising this very important question.
I think Dr. Brajesh, you are facing some audio issue. So let me thank all the participants and invite Dr. Astha to give the vote of thanks. Dr. Astha.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So, on behalf of Bharat 6G Alliance, it is my privilege to propose the vote of thanks at the conclusion of today's 6G Leadership Tech Talk on innovations, patents, standards, and commercialization. I would really like to express my sincere gratitude to our expert and distinguished speakers, Dr. Brajesh Mishra and Dr. YVS Lakshmi ma'am, for sharing such an insightful session on a very relevant topic on patents, SEPs, innovation ecosystems, technology commercialization. This thought-provoking discussion on patent, innovation, licensing ecosystem, the challenges which are faced by inventors, startups in developing economies, the importance of creating domestic market access, and the need to build a sustainable telecom innovation ecosystem has given us a broader perspective on how India can transform research into commercially successful technologies. And also in the presentation on Snapshot of 6G patent landscape, the comprehensive overview being provided on global 6G patent trends and the strategic importance of intellectual property in the 6G era. So both sessions have reinforced the important message that innovation is alone is not enough. Innovation must be protected through intellectual property, translated into global standards, and ultimately commercialized to create economic and societal value. So I will really thank our distinguished speakers, also to Professor Ashish Bhardwaj for putting such insightful questions, and to all the participants who have shared their questions, because this helped our speakers also as a feedback. And I would also thank our leadership of Bharat 6G Alliance team, Pathak sir, David sir, to our Bharat 6G Alliance Secretariat team, Swapnil and Faisal, our CDOT team also for their efforts in successfully conducting this webinar. So thank you once again to all, and please keep tuned to this 6C Leadership Tech Talk. We are hosting on 13th August, as Pathak sir has mentioned in the chat also the details, and will be posted to all as well. So thank you. Have a wonderful day ahead.
Thank you.